What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the NS9 Postgame show powered by Primanti Brothers. I am Jim. With me to my right is Dougie Fresh. Doug, the Pirates win 10-6 to clinch the series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. How are we doing tonight?
We are outstanding. We're very excited. Paul Skenes keeps doing what he's doing. Nick Gonzalez keep doing what he's doing. And other people are kicking in. So, it was somehow we scored 10 runs and it was a nail biter, but man, it was a fun game and they've won. All it does really is piss me off that we've just won the series against the Dodgers with two rookies with a combined 17 major league starts, right? This rotation, it could be special. So let's get them to the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Let's get this rotation to the playoffs, and that's for another show. But
no, we'll definitely get to the pitching. That's for sure. Paul Skenes strikes out 8 Dodgers today. But yeah, Pirates win, which means, hey, we're giving away Primanti sandwiches on this show.
Hashtag raise it.
So as you can see on your screen there, hashtag raise it. Follow Amanda's lead here. Follow CL's lead. Follow Nolan's lead. Hashtag raise it. Put it in the comments. Doesn't matter if it's capitals, lowercase. Just make sure it's all hashtag raise it. And that'll get you into the contest for 2 free Primanti Brothers sandwiches. So before we hop into this real quick, if you're not a Major League Baseball player, Bet Online is your #1 source for the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals this season. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. Doug, where do you want to start with today's game? Do we just want to start with the #1 overall pick against the next Babe Ruth? We got that right off of the bat. I mean, in the second at bat of the game.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
There were fireworks.
As any.
Yeah, fireworks right off the bat here, right? Paul Skenes on the mound against the Dodgers. Mookie Betts leading off. I believe it started off 101, and then he threw a ball, but gets him with a slider. So he strikes out Mookie Betts first at bat. Makes quick work of him. This is Mookie Betts we're talking about. MVP winner.
MVP. Yeah.
906 OPS Mookie Betts having a hell of a year, right? Now's the matchup we're waiting for. Paul Skenes, Shohei Ohtani, and man, Paul Skenes made Shohei Ohtani. This was round 1, but made him look like he basically never played baseball before. He goes 101 with 100 with 101 with 3 pitches, 3 strikes. Shohei Ohtani out in 3 pitches. That was, it was theater.
Right. Skenes had said prior that, he's grown up watching Ohtani and, he was looking forward to it. I think Ohtani was just relieved to not see Jared Jones on the mound, but man, it's right. It was just so dramatic. It's so exciting. It's like, all right, this is the best player in baseball. And we've got the #1 overall pick from less than a year ago. And already up here looking fantastic and just, basically took the bat out of Shohei Ohtani's hands. Just unbelievable stuff. I mean, how can you not get excited? How can you not think, oh man, this is, again, if the Pirates were to sneak into the playoffs, it's the Dodgers are a possible opponent, right? And you're like,
Oh yeah.
okay, all right. We know the Dodgers are going to be there, and we know the Pirates will probably not be hosting, any 3-game series or anything of the sort. So, hey, let's play the Dodgers and throw out Skenes and Jones for crying out loud. They're not scared, right? I very impressive. You just tip of the cap. It's just it's exciting stuff.
It was just, yeah. I mean, today it was a great baseball game. Like you had an excellent pitcher. His stuff was good today. He generated 12 swings and misses. That's throwing the ball as hard as he has all season. And against this lineup too. I mean, this isn't a bunch of scrubs he's facing. He's not facing the Detroit Tigers here. He's facing the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's 3 MVPs at the top of this lineup, followed by Will Smith, who's a perennial all-star, Teoscar Hernandez, who's an all-star himself, Jason Hayward, who's been in the league for 15 years, right? So like this lineup, top to bottom, pretty good. And yeah, like Skeen's got, we'll talk about round 2 against Shohei Ohtani, right?
Right. There was a round 2.
He gave up a couple homers, but for the most part, you've got to be so impressed with where he's at this stage in his career. Like
this is his 5th start.
He's 20.
This is his
he
5th
just turned
start.
22.
Right.
Turned 22 last week.
With 35 innings in the minors. It's not like the guy's been toiling away as a professional for quite some time. I mean, he was a two-way player. 2 seasons ago, at the Air Force or what have you. I mean, he wasn't even putting all his focus and energy into pitching, and now he's, on the mound for the Pirates, making Shohei Ohtani look silly, right? I mean, he didn't just get him out. I mean, it was just like Shohei did not. Now, again, there is a round 2, but it's unbelievable what we're seeing from him so soon, so quick. It's just, you cannot help but be excited and encouraged about what's happening here moving forward.
I want to just, you've watched a little bit more Pirates baseball than me, Doug.
I mean, you are the one that's called the old guy, but sure. Yeah.
But like I've watched a good amount of Pirates baseball. And I'm saying this, and I use hyperbole a lot. Like that's I'm kind of known for it, right? But it's been 5 games, Doug, and I've never seen a pitcher wear a Pirates uniform who looks this good ever in my life. Like it's never happened. I don't necessarily remember Doug Drabek as a Pirate, right? I remember him as an Astro. Don't remember him as a Pirate, but like the next best guy I can think of from that point on is Garrett Cole. And guess what? Garrett Cole never made me feel the feelings I feel when Paul Skenes is out on the mound, right? Like it's
not as a Pirate.
Incredible.
Not as a Pirate. He had a terrific. I think the game we clinched, being over 500 for the first time in 75 years, he beat Yu Darvish 1-0, I think, and that was pretty. But that was one start. He did not pitch like this. He didn't. The closest thing. I mean, I've seen Jim Rooker and Candelaria and Drabek and John Smiley, Denny Nagel. I've seen a bunch, but the only thing that I can kind of relate this to, and it's entirely different, was when Tim Wakefield first came up, and was just that he came up in I think it was like July 31st, something like that. Struck out 10 Cardinals on a Friday night, and then just was crazy, giving up just a run a game for the most part. But it wasn't like 101. It wasn't 102, right? It was smoke and mirrors. Right. It was smoke and mirrors. I mean, it was just. I mean, this is. Yeah, I don't. Nothing. I mean, this is kind of like the prime Bednar, except it's in the ninth inning. It's for 6 innings. You know, like how can somebody be doing this? Well, we don't get this. This is not the kind of thing that comes to the Pirates. It's like I said, I've been watching for a long time. I've seen good pitchers. You know, I've seen the Cy Young winners in their prime, and I remember Drabick versus Maddox 1-0 at Wrigley, and that kind of stuff. I've seen some, but nothing extant like this. Nothing with this kind of just electric, just like, wow, did you see that? Right. And no, gosh, no disrespect to any of those guys. I love them. They were great, but this is something else. This is different.
He threw 16 pitches today, 100 miles per hour or higher. He hit 101 twice, both in that first inning, to one to Betts, one to Ohtani. Yeah, it's incredible that he can keep that up kind of throughout the entire game. Pitch 89 was 100.5 miles per hour, off of him. So like he's doing things starting pitchers just don't do. Like Justin Verlander, I guess maybe the only other guy I can think of where like Verlander though was different though. Verlander would like gain steam throughout the game. Like he would kind of save it, and then like towards the end of the game, he would be like, "All right, I'm gonna give
in the
it what I
7th
got
inning."
left."
He would throw, his last pitch would be 99.
Yep.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
But Skenes is the only starting pitcher that like I can really remember where like he's sitting 100 the whole time. And yeah, there's a couple 99s and 95, like, but he sits 100. And you can say all you want about fastball shape, right? And you can make your argument that, hey, you know what, this fastball, it's in the dead zone, right? Or whatever you want to call it. But it's 100 miles an hour, Doug. And you know what? If he locates that, which he's been able to locate it pretty well for the most part, you're just not hitting it. You're not hitting it.
Right. Yeah. I understand major leaguers, they say a major league hitter could hit a jet engine if he knows, right. He can catch up to it if he knows where it's coming, that sort of thing. Maybe not, because, this, like I said, he's just comfortably sitting there. You have to be, what else can you be prepared for when he's pitching? Like you have to be ready for 101 mile an hour fastball. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to wait for the curve. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's mind boggling. It's like, so I don't know. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, or the coach to turn into a pumpkin or something. But golly, you watch, it's just amazing. It's breathtaking.
So what was also great about this game was, Skenes gets 1, 2, 3 in the first. He pitches a scoreless second, and then the Pirates offense just pours it on James Paxton. Like James Paxton didn't get out of the second inning. He gives up 7 runs in that second inning. Nick Gonzalez 2-run double. Yasmani Grandal RBI single. Brian Reynolds RBI single, 2-run single.
Don't forget
Edward Olivares RBI single. Brian Reynolds RBI single. Actually, Reynolds scored. Olivares it was on a pass ball. So, but like seven runs in the second inning. Paxton gets knocked out. You're feeling like vibes are high. Like 7-0.
Oh yeah.
Second inning. Paul Skenes is on the mound. It doesn't get better than this, Doug.
No,
it doesn't get better.
That was right. You're exactly right. That was like the apex. It's like so often when a guy like James Paxton comes, pitches against the Pirates, it's like, he's been a little shaky. He goes 8 innings and gives up 1 run. Right? Pitchers get well against the Pirates, and they it starts with a walk to Olivares, and it wasn't just Connor Joe and Nick Gonzalez. It's Brian Hayes is in on the act. Triolo, Grandal, Nick Gonzalez. And Nick Gonzalez had a few quiet games, so I was really happy to see, you get a little nervous, until I've got a couple months, I'm not going to be able to weather a slump from him very well. So,
right.
And it was just, again, and it wasn't just one guy, or it wasn't one big swing, it was the whole offense kind of kicking in. And again, that is a wonderful sign for Pirates fans. That's the kind of stuff we need. So yeah, you've got feels like the best pitcher in the universe with a 7-0 lead in the second inning.
7-0 second
And the
inning. You're
Dodgers
facing
going
the
to their bullpen, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're facing the Dodgers too. Yeah, starters out of the game. But then Paul Skenes versus Shohei Ohtani 2.0 happens, round 2, I guess if you want to call it that. And it was a battle. I think Ohtani worked the count to a full count. Let me get to the exact at bat here. So I have it. All right. So starts him off with a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, strike one. Change up, 2-1 count. Fastball 100 for strike 2. 100-mile-an-hour fastball to make it 3-2, and then a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, top third of the zone, but maybe want to get that ball a little bit higher. But this time Ohtani won the battle. So again, this was just it was you couldn't have written the script really all that
better.
made
it more entertaining, right?
Like
you saw really the greatest player in the world, right?
It really did.
It's like,
you've got I literally was saying the inning before, I'm trying to think to myself, have I seen a better pitcher in my life than Paul Skenes? I don't know if I have, right? And so I'm saying this to myself. You've got Paul Skenes, who is maybe the best pitcher I've ever seen, Doug, versus Shohei Ohtani, who's probably the best baseball. Not even a problem. He's the best baseball player in general I've ever seen. Just the stuff he does is absolutely bonkers, right? So you've got that round 2. Skenes wins round 1. Ohtani wins round 2. It was just, even though Ohtani won, it was just a really cool thing to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, again, I guess ultimately, I want Skenes to strike him out, but it was just so cool. Like I said, this was watching the movie, right? Right. And at the end it's okay. That's not how it really happened, but no, that's how it really happened. So yeah, it was spectacular. It was a great game to watch.
It was just again, I love seeing just good baseball. And today it was just good baseball. There were good baseball players facing off against good baseball players. That's what it was. This was just,
and some of them were Pirates, right? Some of those good players were Pirates, right? We weren't just watching 3 MVPs and they're, Clayton Kershaw or whatever. No, we not only did we play with them, we took the series with a game left to go.
Yeah. No, you're right. The fact that we were seeing just the best versus the best, and one of them was a Pittsburgh Pirate, right? It was a really cool game. So Ohtani wins round 2, but it's 7-2. Not really much of a we're not really worrying too much.
You're not scared yet. I mean,
we're still flying.
It's in the back of your head because you're a Pirates fan and you've seen some things, right?
5th inning comes along. Skenes throws a slider, probably catches too much of the zone. Andy Pajas hits a homer, makes it 7-3, solo homer. Really not too big of a deal. Skenes gets out of the 5th. He finishes the day with those 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts in those 2 homers. So all of the runs scored off of Skenes today, just on those 2 homers. I guess if you're going to have any sort of criticism for Skenes after 5 starts, you probably want him to be more efficient, right? But it's hard to really get on him too much here. He's facing the Dodgers. Right. He struck out 8 of them. He got through 5 innings. He left with a big lead.
I don't have any real criticism, but I wish, that he threw fewer pitches. And I mean, he's spectacular. But yeah, if I could just have my druthers, it'd be knock 15 of those off every game. Give us another inning.
Yep. All right. So bullpen comes in. Nick Gonzalez does add a nice little insurance run in the bottom half of the 5th. The sacrifice fly 8-3. But then the Dodgers come back. They score a run against Carmen Mlodzinski. They get a run against Chapman. But again, I want to go back to another Ohtani at bat. This Ohtani Chapman at bat was, again, these are the moments that you just kind of live for as a baseball fan.
Yeah.
And so Chapman, who's throwing the ball better than I think we've seen him since the very beginning of the year, starts off 100.4 miles an hour, foul, strike one. Strike two, splitter, 92. Then gets a sinker up in on his hands. Otani's doesn't hit him, but that was 102.
Yeah.
And then he strikes him out with a 103 mile per hour sinker. That was, again, just another. I'm going to give you my best. You're going to give me your best. And Chapman won. It was a fun. It was a fun battle.
There was only one person tonight that was unimpressed with Paul Skenes, and that was Chapman. He's like 101. Sit down and watch.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some 104 up here at you. Right. It was. That I think that's the best I've seen Chapman. I can't. I mean, he had some nice, like I said, early the first 2 weeks, and then sort of lost the strike zone. But man. And again, it's against the best baseball player in the world. He's not doing this against a strikeout prone, 220 hitter guy that, 3 true outcome type thing. This guy's a hitter, right? He's an efficient and productive hitter. Chapman, I mean, again, we often say $10.5 million on a reliever, very derisively, dripping with sarcasm. Not today. Today, he was a $10.5 million reliever. Right?
Yeah, he still get up the run, right? You want to see him, pitch a clean inning every now and then. But the stuff, you couldn't argue with this stuff today. He threw 12 pitches over 100 miles an hour. He threw 9 pitches over 101. He threw 7 pitches over 102. He threw 5 pitches over 103, and he hit 104 in his at bat against Teoscar Hernandez. So just, I mean, he was amped up tonight. It's kind of crazy of a Paul Skenes start, and Skenes doesn't have any of like the top like 8 fastest pitches in the game.
Yeah. I mean, another thing too, it's great to see how fired up and how amped up the Pirates were, right? That they sense what's going on, right? That they know it's like, hey, we are playing, if not the best team, one of the best teams, and certainly the best, top 3, hitters in a lineup of any team in baseball. And they didn't blink. They weren't scared. They stepped up. It was great.
Yeah. But Chapman does get out of that. He gets out of that 7th inning. It's 8-5 at that point. Pirates add on 2 in the bottom half of the 7th. They score 2 runs. Hayes with an RBI single, Nick Gonzalez with another RBI single. Let's take a little bit of time just to talk about the offense today, because they were outstanding in the 2nd inning. Then they kind of went dead for the middle innings, and then they woke up at the end to provide some much needed insurance runs that the Pirates they took advantage of all those insurance runs. But I think that the key thing to talk about today is just they clogged the base paths. They put people on base, and they hit them in. They executed when they needed to. They were 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position today. Nick Gonzalez was 2 for 2. But then on top of that, they had a sacrifice fly. They moved a runner over from 2nd to 3rd on that too. Sawinski laid down a really nice sacrifice bunt that resulted in a run. So they played small ball, but they scored 10 runs. They only had 1 extra base hit today, Doug. But it was just timely hitting. They got runners on the bases. They moved them over, and then when they needed to, they came through in the clutch. I said 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position. You do that, you're not going to lose. You're just not.
And right there, J-Bo 4N20 said it. They didn't get thrown out on the bases, which has been, a thorn in the side all year long. Michael C. From the 412 Double Play podcast, he was in the chat earlier, but he had said on Twitter today that the Pirates have scored 10 runs 4 times, and it's all been since Nick Gonzalez came up. So, I mean, it's hard to dismiss what Nicky's doing. He's, like I said, he had a couple quiet games there. At one point he was like, 16 RBI in 16 game, and today it was like 16 to 20, something like that. But
I mean,
every opportunity today he certainly came through. Came through when we needed it early, right? And got us the first 2 runs, knocked in the first 2 runs, and then I think he knocked in the last run. outstanding game from Nick G. What he's doing is just unbelievable. None of us saw it coming. He was drafted and we were told he'd win batting titles. And then not one time since then have we thought that was true, right? I mean, he just struck out and struck out and struck out. And now he's come up here and, he might not win batting titles. He might win RBI titles, right?
Yeah, it says here in the comments 4-1-2 double play.
There he is.
Gonzalez 20 RBIs. It's the most in the National League since his call up on May 10th. To go along with that, he's played 23 games, 20 RBIs. Over a full season pace, that's 140 RBIs.
Yeah.
So he's been.
I think that's good, right? That's good. 140.
It's been a huge addition to this offense, and yeah, you can it was when he was called up, the day that he and Skenes got called up. From that day forward, that offense that was so terrible for 5 or 6 weeks, just flipped a switch. And it's a completely different offense now. Now, could they still be better? Yeah, I think they could still be more consistent. But they are putting runs up on the board. I mean, they had gone 2 weeks or something without scoring more than 3 runs in a game, and like you said, now they're putting up 10, and they've done that 4 times in the last month.
Yeah,
they're taking steps forward. Yeah.
Kutch did not hit a home run today. That's the only little downer.
Kutch was actually. Kutch was the one guy who didn't do anything. He got a walk, he scored a run, but he went 0 for 4.
And I think Connor Joe, right? Just a walk.
Connor Joe also 0 for 3.
Yeah.
But the middle, those middle 3, the 4, 5, 6 hitters, Olivares, Hayes, Gonzalez, they combined to go 6 for 8 with 5 runs scored, 6 runs batted in, plus 3 walks. So they got on base 9 out of 11 times today. 9 out of 12 if you count the sac fly that goes in there. But yeah, those 3 guys, those were the ones coming through. Again, runners in scoring position. Gonzalez.
Yeah, nearly every at bat. Right. They were productive.
Gonzalez was 2 for 2 with runners in scoring position plus the sacrifice fly. So he was up with runners in scoring position 3 different times, and runners scored all 3 times. Olivares 1 for 1, Hayes 1 for 2, and the Hayes single in the 7th to extend that lead out to 4 runs. That was a big hit there towards the end of the game.
Right, important.
I guess if there's one thing, it's this bullpen, Doug. The bullpen is just it's still so shaky.
Right.
This was a game where you would have liked to have not had to go to Bednar, Holderman.
Yeah, Bednar. I was really kind of disappointed to see Bednar. It was a 4-run lead, and if we need him tomorrow, right? I mean, and we'll pitch him because he'll ask to pitch and that sort of thing. But I'd have preferred if we need him tomorrow that he had the day off. But again, you can't really even fault Shelton for that because we've got guys that can throw gas on a fire real quick in there right now. So
yeah, I actually, I criticize Shelton when he deserves it. I think he handled the bullpen really well today. I agree. At some point, these other guys need to be able to get you outs. And so, when the game was a little out of reach there, he went Majinski. He went with Stratton with a 5-run lead in the 8th inning. And so he did those, but then as soon as they really got in trouble, especially Stratton in that 8th, that inning was getting a little squirrely, right?
It was, it was a bit of a nail biter, right?
He wasn't really doing great. And then Ohtani was coming up too, and so he goes to Holderman. Holderman gets Ohtani, who hits the ball to the back edge of the warning track. But Holderman gets him, and then it was we're not messing around. We're just gonna go to Bednar. Bednar 1, 2, 3. He's been on fire lately. Just we talked about his May. He had a 2.03 ERA in May. This makes it now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight scoreless appearances for David Bednar. So I know Tyler asked Neil yesterday if David Bednar was back. Doug, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is David Bednar back?
It's hard to say no. But it's hard to say yes. Right? But that's more, a crisis of my confidence. It had nothing to do with David Bednar. I'm a Pirate fan. I've been a Pirate fan my whole life, and basically since 1993. We can't have nice things, So no, it does. He looks good. He still doesn't look as sharp as he has at what we've seen from him. So it gives you a little pause for concern, but. I don't know. I mean, what more can you ask for, right? 8 straight scoreless starts. I mean, it wouldn't be unreasonable if he had given up a run somewhere in there. That's the nature of baseball, and we've been playing some decent teams too. It's not like we've been playing all,
right,
Marlins and some of these. We haven't played the White Sox yet, so yeah. So I mean, I certainly wasn't nervous when he came in with a 4-run lead. And if anything, just a little frustrated that he was actually coming in. But then I look and I'm like, well, who else? Who else? So,
right.
And
I feel like you bring anybody else in and you don't trust them, you're just going to end up bringing Bednar in anyways.
Then you bring Bednar in, and now you bring him in with two guys on base and bases loaded, nobody out, one of those things. Let him come in with a clean inning and get it done. And that's exactly what he did. Right.
I agree. Well, Paul Skenes goes to 3-0 on the year. 3.00 ERA exactly through 5 starts. Let's you ready to give away some sandwiches?
Absolutely. It's my favorite part of the show.
It's been 31 minutes. I think the people want their sandwiches. We've got 94 entries in to the contest. I know there's more than that in the chat right now. So if you haven't, #raise it, just like Steel City DW here. That gets you into the contest for 2 free Primanti Brothers sandwiches. So we'll give you a couple seconds here to do that. While you're getting in those, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the page if you haven't. It's just a click of a button. Our memberships, I've seen some people ask about those. They've been paused temporarily for some reason. YouTube's being weird, so we're appealing that. So we'll get you an answer on that here soon. But so sorry, no emojis in the chat right now. But we are at 100 entries in this this giveaway. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and give away some sandwiches. So, all right. Good luck, everybody. I'm going to hit the button. Let's see who we got today for 2 free sandwiches. Congratulations, Nick Navy. Nick Navy, congrats. You've just won 2 free Primanti Brothers sandwiches. Make sure you DM us your information where we can mail those to you. You can DM those on Twitter. You can DM them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your preferred social media platform is. Or you can email it to us at northshore9@gmail.com. But appreciate you, Nick. Congratulations. And then also,
way to go, Nick.
Yeah, congrats. So 2 free Primanti Brothers sandwiches. So you got any last words, Doug, before we head out of here?
No, I mean, I think we've said it all. I think the chat is feeling the vibe. We're all feeling really good. Looking forward to a Bailey Falter start tomorrow. So all sorts of things I never thought I'd say happening here lately. So yeah, thanks for joining us. The chat's always great, and we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, appreciate all you guys in the chat, everybody listening on the podcast after this, everybody watching afterwards. Appreciate all of you. Tomorrow it's Bailey Falter versus Walker Buehler. Pirates will go for the sweep. They are 29-32. Let's sweep the Dodgers, Doug. Let's do another sandwich giveaway tomorrow.
That again.
Let's sweep the Dodgers. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow with another post game show. Hopefully, celebrating a Bailey Falter complete game shutout win. See you guys.
Let's go Bucks.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.